How's it going, everybody? I'm gonna cut straight to it. I have a counterfeit Shure SM7B here, guts hanging out and all. I have a authentic Shure SM7B here. This topic is a little saturated on YouTube. Doesn't really matter. I had found some key differences that I wasn't made aware of through any of the content that I had seen published on YouTube as it is. So I wanted to come on here and take the time to do that for you all so that you guys don't fall into the same trap that I did. One of the first things I noticed as soon as I was dismantling the two and putting them side by side in a direct comparison is that these screws that are holding this back plate, this is the back plate. These are the screws that mount it onto the back plate or onto the body itself. They're not the same. These are very fine threaded screws. So keep that in mind. They're longer and they're extremely fine. This plate is a matte finish, and on the authentic Shure SM7B, that is a gloss finish, dude. So keep that in mind when you're going to purchase one of these from Marketplace or anything of that nature. The font on this it's exactly the same, save for the thickness of the font itself. Now, I am not an expert in this field whatsoever. There could be variations of these out there, but this one is mine. And as I compared it, that's something that I had noticed. It looks extremely real. It looks legitimate. Like, you would never know to the untrained eye. I thought that I was adept enough to go in and compare the two, and trust me, there's a lot that I didn't notice. Moving on from that, this is a different alloy. You can kind of grab it right on the edge and flick it with your hand. And that resonant tone is different than that of the Shure SM7B, the authentic Shure SM7B. This is a heavier metal. Now, I've got the guts hanging out of this fucking thing. I personally don't care anything about this at this point because obviously it's a counterfeit and I wanted to see what it was all about. One of the first things that I noticed is the off gas scent from the cheap manufacturing aspect here. This plate right here it's a brass color. Now, one of the main things that people had taken note of on their videos is that this would be like a silver alloy. They are getting keen with it though, apparently, and it's now brass. So keep that in mind. If you just open it up this far, you may not be able to tell. On the authentic Shure SM7B, these screws are flathead, not Phillips. That's one of the key differences. There's no red wire inside the authentic Shure SM7B, not at all. The housing feels exactly the same. It's really hard to say. It feels like this is a smoother texture than the housing on the Shure SM7B. I didn't take the capsule out of the original, but I will say this, everybody knows this. This is the easiest one. The capsule sits much higher here. It sits well past the halfway point on this metal housing, this metal chassis. There is a difference in this metal in comparison to the original. Slight difference. Just keep it in mind and trust your gut when you're taking a look at these things. There's also this plate here. When you open it up and you take a look, this right here on the original is gold. This plate here, it's like the circuit board. It's a gold color and there's lots of writing on it and numerical values. Here it's just a plain green slate. That pretty much told me right away as soon as I saw over everything else. There you guys have it. Please bear those things in mind. Everything else has been covered in other videos.